The historical figures designated as vampire queens are not supernatural beings, but rather individuals whose horrific actions or societal circumstances led to their vilification and association with blood drinking legends. Their stories reveal how human depravity and cultural anxieties can converge to create monstrous archetypes.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Is It Real? Also, I compel you to share your thoughts in the comment box below. I'll be watching you, mortal.
Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess of Sigi Elizabeth Bathory, a Hungarian countess, remains one of history's most infamous figures, often cited as a real-life inspiration for vampire lore. She is renowned for allegedly torturing and murdering hundreds of young girls, earning her a Guinness World Record for most prolific female murderer. Accounts suggest she killed between 100 to 200 girls, possibly up to 650 victims, often through gruesome methods such as driving needles into fingers, whipping with stinging nettles, biting, and burning. Of 289 witness accounts, over 250 offered either hearsay or no information whatsoever. Her story is often cited as a historical basis for vampire myths, particularly the blood-drinking aspect. Bathory's continued existence as a vampire queen is ultimately a testament to the cultural fascination with the dangerous feminine, particularly when combined with aristocratic power and extreme transgression. Her legend taps into deep-seated anxieties about unchecked female autonomy and the corrupting influence of power, ensuring her continued reign in the realm of horror and dark fantasy. Furthermore, confessions from her servants were obtained under torture, rendering their reliability questionable. Bathory's position as a powerful, wealthy widow and a Protestant during a pro-Catholic counter-reformation made her a prime target for nobles who coveted her wealth, including Emperor Matthias, who owed her money at the time of her imprisonment. Her imprisonment allowed family members to take control of her possessions, and she was a Protestant target during a pro-Catholic counter-reformation with the emperor owing her money. Revisionist theories propose that she was a religious subversive, a book smuggler. Her academy, often depicted as a finishing school, may have been a place where young women learned to read radical religious ideas, suggesting her actions were not just evil, but also potentially politically motivated. And even a radical feminist, whose crimes were fabricated to facilitate a political witch hunt and seize her substantial assets. The application of the vampire label, or the association with blood drinking, becomes a tool for political and social control. By painting a powerful, non-conforming woman as a monstrous vampire queen, her wealth could be seized, her influence neutralized, and a cautionary tale created. This suggests that the existence of a vampire queen can be a social construct used to demonize and disempower, rather than solely a reflection of actual deeds or supernatural abilities. Her alleged reign of terror in Hungary lasted decades, leading to her confinement in Lactus Castle from 1610 until her death in 1614. The most sensational and enduring myth surrounding Bathory is that she bathed in the blood of virgins to recapture her youth. This macabre image is central to her vampiric identity in popular culture. However, historical scrutiny reveals that this depraved action is not supported by contemporaneous witness accounts. Its first mention appeared approximately 100 years after her death. This belated emergence of the bloodbath narrative illustrates how historical figures are retrospectively fitted into emerging archetypes to satisfy cultural anxieties and narrative desires. It is not merely a distortion of history, but an active construction of a monster that resonates with evolving folklore, solidifying her vampire queen status in the public imagination, even if the vampirism itself is a later fictional overlay. The evidence against Bathory is fraught with flaws, prompting significant historical debate. Despite these historical ambiguities and revisionist theories, Bathory remains a prominent figure in popular culture, consistently depicted as a vampiric monster. Convicted of crimes, as a member of a powerful family, Bathory was never formally tried for her crimes. Instead, she was confined to her castle. Her actions were solely due to inherent evil. Revisionist theories suggest she was a religious subversive and book smuggler, and her crimes were fabricated for political reasons to seize her wealth. Enrique de Marti, the vampire of Barcelona. Enrique de Marti Ripoll was a Spanish serial killer, kidnapper, prostitute, and procuress of children who operated in Barcelona from approximately 1900 to 1912. She abducted impoverished children to prostitute them to affluent clients with unusual desires. This vampire moniker was largely a sensationalist media construct for real-world horrors. She also practiced as a witch doctor, claiming that drinking children's blood could cure tuberculosis and offering anti-aging elixirs. The ingredients for these remedies, including fat, blood, hair, and bones, allegedly came from the remains of children she killed. Aged 5 to 15, police found human bones, bloody clothing, and preserved human remains in her flat. Marty's case demonstrates how the vampire archetype can be appropriated by media to describe extreme human depravity, particularly when it involves the exploitation of the vulnerable and the consumption or use of human essence. Her queen status is metaphorical, reigning over a hidden underworld of child exploitation and illicit cures, making her a vampire queen of urban darkness and societal corruption rather than a supernatural entity. Marti became widely known in the press as the Vampire of Caraponent, the Vampire of Barcelona, and the Vampire of the Raval. She was finally arrested in 1912 after a neighbor reported a kidnapped girl. Marti was never tried for murder. She died in prison from a lynching by inmates on May 12, 1913. However, her death certificate stated uterine cancer as the cause of death. Counter-theories suggest Marti was a mentally disturbed woman, a scapegoat for broader sexual scandals involving minors among the upper classes, and child kidnappings for cures or illegal adoptions. Some argue no child's corpse was formally found, and the blood was her own from uterine cancer. Marti's existence as a vampire queen highlights how the monstrous archetype can be used to externalize and contain societal anxieties and guilt. By demonizing one individual as the ultimate vampire, the deeper, more uncomfortable truths about a society's own predatory elements can be obscured, making her a queen of a very human, yet equally terrifying, form of predation. Marti was initially arrested in 1909 for running a child brothel, but was not tried due to her connections with Barcelona's high society. Ancient queens of the night and blood, long before modern vampire narratives, ancient mythologies featured powerful female entities with blood-drinking or life-draining characteristics, often holding a queen-like status within their respective cosmologies. These figures embody primal fears and societal anxieties, laying foundational groundwork for later vampire folklore. Lilith, the primordial queen of demons, her earliest textual appearance dates back to the Sumerian epic Gilgamesh and the Halupu tree around 2000 BCE, and she is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible in Isaiah 34-14. Lilith, also known as Lilichu, is a formidable feminine figure with deep roots in ancient Mesopotamian and Jewish mythology. According to medieval Jewish folk traditions, Lilith holds a unique position as Adam's first wife, created as his equal from the same earth before Eve. Hebrew law strictly forbade blood consumption, making her actions exceptionally evil. Like later vampires, she was believed to transform into animals, typically a cat, and charm her victims. Kabbalah texts explicitly connect her to vampiric attributes, further cementing her association with blood-drinking and life-draining qualities. Lilith's ancient, queenly status as a progenitor of demonic lineage provides a powerful, primordial foundation for the concept of a powerful, blood-consuming female entity. Her enduring influence on the modern vampire archetype is evident in these shared characteristics. Her banishment from Eden for refusing to be subordinate to Adam directly led to her becoming the Queen of the Demons and the Mother of Demons. This transformation into a demoness and Queen of Demons directly follows her defiance of patriarchal order, illustrating an archetypal link between female autonomy or rebellion and monstrous depiction. Her vampiric traits become symbolic of the destructive potential perceived in women who defy traditional roles. She reigns as a queen not just of demons, but of a primal, untamed feminine force that challenges established order. Lilith is frequently depicted as subsisting on the blood of babies and preying on young infants and their mothers at night, as well as males. Lamashtu, the Mesopotamian mother of monsters Lamashtu, known as Dim in Sumerian mythology, represents a historically older image that significantly influenced the figure of Lilith. She is often depicted as a terrifying, blood-sucking creature with the head of a lion and the body of a donkey. Unlike many lesser demons, Lamashtu was said to act malevolently of her own accord, and was considered a goddess or a demigoddess in her own right, bearing 7 names and described as 7 witches and incantations. Lamashtu's vampiric characteristics primarily involve preying on newborns and their mothers, snatching infants to drink their blood and eat their flesh. She was widely blamed for miscarriages and cot deaths, reflecting a profound societal anxiety about child mortality. This origin story provides a mythological narrative where extreme suffering and divine injustice transform a royal figure into a predatory monster. She is depicted as a female demon who devoured children, and was used by Athenian mothers as a threat to frighten naughty children, indicating her pervasive cultural impact. Lamia's existence as a vampire queen illustrates the power of a single, compelling myth to evolve into a pervasive archetype. Her transformation from a queen to a child-devouring monster, driven by vengeance, resonated deeply enough to become a cautionary tale and a general term for female predation, solidifying her queenly influence over the collective imagination regarding dangerous female figures. Her vampiric acts are a tragic, distorted echo of her lost motherhood, making her a queen of sorrow and vengeance, whose reign is marked by the consumption of innocence as a form of twisted retribution. Incantations describe her as a flesh-eating, blood-sucking monster who harms men, beasts, trees, rivers, roads, buildings. Lamashtu's existence as a vampire queen is a profound example of how ancient cultures personified inexplicable suffering and primal fears. Her story takes a tragic turn due to the wrath of Hera, Zeus's jealous wife. Hera discovered the infidelity and, in her vengeance, killed all of Lamia's offspring. Devastated by her profound loss, Lamia swore vengeance and transformed into a child-devouring, blood-sucking demon, preying on young children in their beds at night, into a powerful, terrifying female entity. Her reign is over the domain of life and death, particularly the vulnerable, making her a queen of sorrow and destruction, whose vampiric acts are a direct manifestation of these anxieties. Her independent malevolence and divine status as the daughter of the sky god Anu distinguish her from lesser demons, granting her a powerful, queen-like dominion over chaos and destruction. Lamashtu's existence as an ancient vampire queen illustrates the deep cross-cultural roots of the female blood drinker archetype. Her independent divine malevolence and her specific focus on the vulnerable establish a foundational template for powerful, predatory female figures, demonstrating that the concept of a vampire queen is not a modern invention, but a continuation of ancient fears and mythologies. Lamia, the devouring queen of Greek myth and ancient Greek mythology. Lamia was originally a beautiful queen of Libya and a secret lover of Zeus. Lamia's transformation into a child-devouring, blood-sucking monster is a direct consequence of Hera killing her children. Over time, the term Lamia evolved to become a general word describing demons and monstrous female figures. Akasha. The Queen of the Damned Akasha is a pivotal and formidable figure in Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, specifically the Queen of the Damned, where she is revealed as the first vampire. Her creation occurred around 4011 BC, predating the first civilizations, establishing her as the ultimate origin point of vampirism itself. Her queenly status is not just about dominion over others, but about being the source of their very nature, and then sought to wipe out most of the vampire population with fire, before being destroyed herself by the twins Makari and Maharet. While never explicitly called Brides of Dracula in the novel, this moniker has become iconic in popular culture, solidifying their presence across numerous adaptations in film, television, and stage. Akasha's existence as the Queen of the Damned embodies the allure and terror of ancient absolute power. They entice men with their beauty and charm, then proceed to feed upon them, with Dracula providing victims, often implied to be infants. While their exact relationship to Dracula is ambiguous in the novel, their role as his powerful companions. The figures examined in this report demonstrate the nuanced understanding required for their existence. Whether rooted in documented lives, deeply held beliefs, or pervasive cultural impact. These figures often embody primal fears, such as the inexplicable tragedy of child mortality, as seen with Lamashtu. From ancient goddesses of blood and night to the progenitors of fictional vampire lineages, these figures continue to reign in the collective human imagination, proving that the allure of the powerful predatory female is a timeless and universal motif. Anemia, or the spread of disease. They also frequently serve as manifestations of societal anxieties, particularly regarding female power and rebellion against patriarchal norms. Lilith's defiance and subsequent demonization, or the Victorian era's discomfort with the wild sexuality of Dracula's brides, exemplify this dynamic. Furthermore, the sensationalism of media, evident in the press's labeling of Enrique de Marti and the enduring yet unsubstantiated bloodbath myth of Elizabeth Bathory, highlights how fact and fiction can blur, creating compelling narratives that captivate public imagination. The allure of forbidden sexuality, immortality, and unchecked power also contributes to their lasting appeal, and the mothers of his children grants them a queenly status within his domain. In some adaptations, they are even considered more fearful than Dracula himself. The existence of the Brides of Dracula as vampire queens illustrates how popular culture actively shapes and solidifies archetypes, sometimes beyond their original literary definitions. Their collective queenly status is not just conferred by their fictional master, Dracula, but by their enduring and influential presence across decades of adaptations, making them iconic figures whose reign is over the very genre of vampire fiction itself. They are depicted as enchantingly beautiful, coquettish, seductive, and wild and sexually aggressive. They possess superhuman strength, the power of flight, and are repulsed by sunlight, garlic, and religious objects, sharing many of Dracula's traditional weaknesses. The bride's existence as vampire queens embodies the Victorian era-esque anxieties about unrestrained female sexuality and agency. Their seductive power and predatory nature serve as a cautionary tale against female allure that deviates from societal norms. Their reign is one of temptation and destruction, making them queens of a specific culturally charged Gothic fantasy. Her long periods of dormancy and sudden, cataclysmic reawakening symbolize the latent, destructive forces that can lie hidden within history. She is a vampire queen whose reign is not merely political but existential, capable of reshaping the very fabric of her world, making her a powerful symbol of both creation and annihilation within fictional lore. This makes her a meta queen, ruling not just a territory or a lineage, but the very essence of what it means to be a vampire, embodying the primal power and ancient mystery of the undead. In her mortal life, Akasha was a queen from Uruk who traveled to Kemet to marry and kill and become queen of the region. Her transformation into the first vampire occurred when the spirit Amel pierced her skin and entered her body. To alleviate her insatiable bloodthirst, she then turned her husband, Enkill, and others into vampires, thus becoming the progenitor of all vampires. Over centuries, her body hardened, and she no longer needed to feed, entering long trances. During these trances, she could even occupy the minds of lesser vampires. Akasha was worshipped by her progeny through the ages more as a myth than a leader, often referred to as those who must be kept. Reawakened in the 20th century by Lestat's music, she took him as her new lover, destroyed Enkill. The Brides of Dracula, seductive sovereigns of Transylvania, the Brides of Dracula, are three seductive vampire sisters who reside with Count Dracula in his Transylvanian castle, as portrayed in Bram Stoker's seminal novel Dracula. These figures collectively represent a powerful force of allure and predation. Their collective presence and shared predatory nature make them a unified force. Conclusion: the enduring allure of the vampire queen. The concept of the vampire queen is a rich tapestry woven from threads of historical accusation, ancient mythology, and influential fictional narratives. The enduring fascination with powerful, often dangerous, female figures associated with vampirism can be attributed to several profound cultural currents. The vampire queen archetype is remarkably adaptable, constantly evolving to reflect contemporary anxieties and fascinations.